Hello and welcome back to Practical AutoCAD and Inventor. In this video, we're going to continue the video series on creating isometric drawings and show you how to calculate angles in an isometric drawing and then create holes or cylinders in a drawing as well. Let's consider this drawing I have here on the screen. It's a 3-view drawing of a simple wedge with a hole going through it, but it's going to pose a couple of problems when we get to the isometric drawing. First of all, notice here that this line is at an angle of 30 degrees, and I don't give you this dimension here. So we cannot measure the length of this line or the angle in the isometric because that's one of the things that we give up when we create isometric drawings. You can't measure angles and you can't measure non-isometric lines. I can measure the length of this line, however, and I'm going to do that in the drawing. The other thing is I could create a circle on the top of the object as an isometric circle or an isocircle, but I can't create an isometric circle on that inclined surface. So I'll show you how to create that one as well. Let's begin by setting up the isometric environment. To set up the isometric environment, move your mouse down to the status bar and right-click on your grid option down here, and you'll see that it says Snap Settings. If I click on Snap Settings, it launches the Drafting Settings dialog box, and it brings me to the Snap and Grid tab right here on that box. Right now I do have my snap on and my grid on. The snap is set to 1/8 of an inch and the grid is set to 1/2 of an inch. What I want to change is my snap type. I want to change from the rectangular snap to the isometric snap and then choose OK. And you can see what happens is it changes my grid so that the lines now are at 30 degrees instead of vertical and horizontal. If I press F5, it cycles me through the different types of isoplanes that I have. So I have my top isoplane where I have both sets of lines are at 30 degrees. If I press F5 again, I've got the right side isoplane where I've got my height and my depth. And if I press F5 one more time, I've got my height and my width. I'm going to start here in order to begin creating my box for this object. And I want to look at it. This is a fairly simple object. It's 3 units long, 2 inches tall, and 2 inches deep. The wedge has an angle here of 30 degrees. Let's start by creating the box. Now the other thing that I can do is I can move down here to my status bar and I can turn on my ortho. You can turn on and off ortho by pressing F8. So notice if I press F8 it turns it off and on. But this is going to be helpful because by using that ortho and the direct distance input, I can very easily make the box that this object would fit in. So I'll just pick this point for example. Notice because my ortho is on, it's limiting the movement of the cursor to only those 2 angles. And I can say I want it to go 3, enter, and then 2, enter, 3, enter, 2, enter. And then if I press F5, I can switch over to my side isoplane. It's going to be 2 and 2, and then 2 back this direction. At this point now I can simply copy this line from there to there and copy this line from there to there, and that completes my box. I'm going to put it on the correct layer right now. I have it on the wrong layer, so I'll put it on my M ortho. I should put on my M iso. So let me change that to my M iso. So now that's the box that this object would sit in. Again, it's 3 by 2 by 2. Okay, so I've got 3 inches wide by 2 inches deep by 2 inches tall, and this object would now fit inside this box. The thing I cannot do is I cannot measure this angle in the isometric line or in the isometric drawing. You give up the ability to measure angles when you're creating an isometric drawing. I can, however, measure the length of that line right there because it's an isometric line. But don't use your measure tool. If I come in here, for example, and put a linear dimension on that, you'll see that it has a size of 0.27, which is probably pretty close, but it's not quite exact. So what I suggest you do instead is just use like an old trick that you would have done if you were drawing this mechanically. You'd get out your compass and you would measure the length of this line with your compass, and then you could transfer it up here. To do so, I'll simply draw a circle in this location here with the right distance, and then I can move that circle from where it is here up to that point there. And now I know that this distance right here is exactly the right distance. So if I want to draw my geometry now, I can just connect the dots. So I can say it goes from the end of that line to that intersection right there. This is a non-isometric line. If I were to measure the length of that line, it would not measure the length of this line, but it is correct because it goes from the right point here to the right point there. From here now I can erase that circle and I can simply do some copying. So I can copy this line from there to there, and I can copy this line from there to there and erase the things that I don't need. So I can say trim that, erase these, and we are done with the wedge portion of this drawing. So this is an accurate representation of an isometric of this 3-view drawing. Now from here I want to add this hole, and the hole can cause a different set of problems altogether. So before we draw the hole, let's actually just draw this hole as, let's pretend it's a cylinder. I'm going to press F5 a couple times so I get to my top, and I'm going to draw the cylinder as an actual cylinder. Now in AutoCAD you have the ellipse isocircle option. So I'm going to say EL for ellipse, and then one of my options down here on the command line is isocircle. I'll type I for isocircle, and it's going to give me the ability to draw an elliptical circle that in this case looks like it's on the top surface, or if I press F5 it's on the right side surface, or if I press F5 again it's on the front surface. So I'm going to draw it, and I'm going to draw it exactly the right size. So we see that this is a 1-inch diameter ellipse, and I'm going to draw it too big because we're going to come in here and trim it out anyway. So I'll give it a diameter D of 1, and now I'm going to just say let's make it 2 inches tall. And I'll do that by copying this ellipse copy this ellipse, and I'll just say at 2 at an angle of 90. So now it's 2 inches straight above. To make this look like a true cylinder, I can use the line command, and I'll connect the quadrant of this ellipse. So right click, shift right click, I'll choose quadrant, the quadrant here, to shift right click the quadrant here, and then I will proceed to do the same thing on the other side. So from the quadrant here to the quadrant there. And so now this cylinder, and if I trim it out it really will look like a cylinder. This cylinder would represent the hole that I want to put into this object. Now the problem with this is I don't know where this cylinder and that inclined surface are going to meet. Okay, so I could do this a couple different ways. For example, I know that the center line, this center line right here, is an inch away from this edge. So I'm going to just say, let's do this. Let's copy this line right here in that direction 1 inch. So it's as if I was projecting this line out to that front surface. Okay. Now if I wanted to draw this center line right here, it would go straight across. So I could now just say copy this line from there to there, and now I've got that center line going across. And if I want this line right here, this center line going down that inclined surface, again I can copy this line from that intersection to the midpoint. And now that cross right there represents the center line of that circle on that inclined surface. So we're doing an analytical geometry here. The other thing I could do is I could move this into place so that it's there. So I'm going to say, okay, again, and I could do this a different way. I'll say I want a line from that corner back in this direction 2 inches, right? So 1 inch from this corner, or 2 inches from this corner. And now I'll move this from the center of that to the endpoint there, and now that ellipse is in the right place. Now it's at this point it's kind of hard to see exactly what's going on because I don't know where everything starts and stops. But what I can do is I can come in and add a few construction lines. So let me add some lines on the cylinder as if they were going to be, here. So I just added a line there going at, like it's on that top isoplane surface. So that represents the center of that ellipse that direction, okay? And then I'll draw one the other way as well. So I'll extend that out there and there. So that's the center of that ellipse. I could project it down, and so I'll just connect from there. I'll turn my ortho F5, or my isoplane, so I can do this, right? And I can do the same thing on the other side. Notice that when I do the two sides there, they happen to coincide with the front. If I were to extend this one up, for example, right? So those two match. But now by doing that, what I've found is the 4 points for where this ellipse or this cylinder match this cross, and it's where these two lines right here, that one and that one, intersect with these two lines right here. So to clean it up a little bit, I'll just trim. I'll say let's trim these out, let's trim these out, let's trim these out, and these out. And now that cross right there is the same as that cross, but it's on that inclined surface. So now to finish this out, I can simply erase the geometry that was that ellipse. And I can even erase these two lines. Okay. And now just draw my ellipse there. To draw the ellipse, you're going to use the ellipse tool, but you're just going to use the axis end. Do not use the iso circle. And I'll say the axis endpoint 1 is there, the second axis endpoint is there, the third axis endpoint is either one of those two endpoints. And that's it exactly. I've put it on the wrong layer. Let me put it back where it needs to be. And now I can delete those two lines that were my center, and now that ellipse is again on that inclined surface exactly how it should be represented. Again, it's not an iso circle. If I were to come back in here and say iso circle, if I pick that, notice that it's not the same as this one. Okay, if I press F5, it's not the same as this one, and F5, it's not the same as that one. It looks mostly like this one, but it's not quite the same, so you can't just use the iso circle there. So this is how you would both create angled surfaces or non-isometric lines in an isometric drawing and ellipses or cylinders, and figure out how those cylinders intersect with non-isometric lines. Thanks for watching.